because he wanted a multi-fight deal. What's your thoughts on that?
It's not worth it. It's not worth no multi-fight deal.
The rivalry between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Tank Davis has been one of the most talked about topics in boxing in recent years. With both fighters at the top of the lightweight division, their clash seems inevitable. However, their relationship has been anything but cordial, with insults, challenges, and heated debates between them. The controversy over whether a fight between the two will ever happen has only fueled the rivalry, leaving fans eagerly waiting for the ultimate showdown. The drama began when rumors swirled that Stevenson had turned down a one-fight deal with Premier Boxing Champions (PBC) in order to secure long-term contracts. According to some reports, Stevenson was offered a single fight with Tank Davis, but rejected the offer in favor of negotiating a multi-fight deal. Tank, known for his brash and unapologetic demeanor, wasted no time criticizing Stevenson. He publicly stated that Shakur was unworthy of facing him and questioned his overall credentials in the sport. This was a direct swipe at Stevenson, who has often been regarded as one of the most skilled and promising fighters in the lightweight division. Stevenson, however, denied ever receiving such an offer. He angrily responded to the claims, calling out those who were spreading false narratives. Stevenson maintained that no one from PBC had ever presented him with a one-fight deal. His frustration was palpable as he addressed fans and critics alike, who seemed intent on misrepresenting the situation. "I never got a one-fight deal. That's what you want to believe, but I never got that offer," Stevenson stated. He went on to challenge anyone who claimed otherwise, demanding proof of the offer and pointing out that the reports were simply rumors without any factual basis. He dismissed the idea as a fabrication meant to stir up drama in the boxing world. The situation escalated further when Tank Davis continued to take shots at Stevenson, dismissing him as a serious threat. Davis openly criticized Stevenson for lacking the physicality to compete at the top level of boxing. He questioned Stevenson's accomplishments and wondered aloud what Stevenson had actually achieved in the sport. In a press conference ahead of his own fight with Lamont Roach, Davis said, "What has Shakur done? What has he done in the sport? He hasn't done anything." Davis also compared Stevenson unfavorably to other younger boxers, including Kambosos and Haney, suggesting that they were more impressive than Stevenson. This was a direct challenge to Stevenson's growing reputation as one of the sport's rising stars. Shakur Stevenson, however, was not about to let these comments slide. Known for his calm demeanor and strategic approach, Stevenson chose not to respond to Davis with anger or insults. Instead, he took to social media, where he responded to Davis's criticism in his own subtle but pointed way. "That's all I can do, gang. Laugh at this goofy," Stevenson tweeted, taking the high road while subtly undermining Davis's claims. By laughing off Davis's remarks, Stevenson showcased his confidence, implying that Tank's insults were not worth his time. This approach allowed Stevenson to maintain his composure while putting Davis in a position where his words seemed less impactful. The war of words between the two fighters continued to escalate as Davis persisted with his criticisms. One of the primary points of contention was Stevenson's defensive style. Davis, who is known for his knockout power and aggressive offense, dismissed Stevenson's approach as overly reliant on defense. He argued that a fighter with a defensive style alone would not be able to dominate in boxing, as Davis believed that an offense-first approach was what ultimately led to success in the sport. He stated that defense alone wouldn't win in boxing, implying that Stevenson lacked the ability to go on the offensive and therefore wasn't a real threat to him. Davis's remarks painted Stevenson as a fighter who was only capable of surviving in the ring, rather than excelling at the highest level. Stevenson responded in his usual composed manner, maintaining that he had no issue with Davis's criticisms. However, he also made it clear that he wasn't afraid to face him, Stevenson's calmness in the face of Davis's insults demonstrated his belief that ultimately their paths would cross in the ring. "Every time my name comes up, boy gets hella emotional," Stevenson tweeted, implying that Davis's emotional responses only made the situation more dramatic. Stevenson's tweet added fuel to the fire, reigniting the debate over who was the better fighter and whether Davis was truly avoiding a fight with Stevenson. Despite the escalating tension between the two, Davis continued to assert his dominance in the lightweight division. He publicly dismissed Stevenson's chances, claiming that Stevenson simply didn't have what it took to compete with him at the highest level. In one particularly pointed remark, Davis declared, "You can't stop people who can actually hit." This was a direct attack on Stevenson's perceived lack of knockout power, a criticism that has followed Stevenson throughout his career. Davis emphasized that boxing wasn't just about defense, but also about being able to hit hard and impose one's will on the opponent. In his view, Stevenson's reliance on defense alone wouldn't be enough to stop someone like him, who had the power to finish fights. As the rivalry continued to develop, it became clear that Davis was positioning himself as the top dog in the lightweight division. His criticisms of Stevenson, including his questioning of Stevenson's credentials, were aimed at asserting his own dominance. Davis framed himself as the more dangerous, well-rounded fighter, while downplaying Stevenson's achievements and abilities. In this light, Stevenson's rise to prominence seemed to Davis exaggerated and unearned. Stevenson, on the other hand, took Davis's critiques in stride, using them as motivation to prove that he was, indeed, a threat in the lightweight division. While the trash talk and verbal exchanges between Davis and Stevenson were reaching new heights, there was also a growing sense of inevitability around the potential fight. Stevenson made it clear that he wasn't interested in all the drama, he just wanted to get in the ring with Davis. He directly called out Tank, urging him to stop avoiding the fight and to put up or shut up. "Tell that expletive, fight me then," Stevenson tweeted, sending a clear message that he was done with the back and forth and wanted action. In response, Davis seemed to backtrack on his previous statements about avoiding the fight. He hinted that, despite all the trash talk, he was open to making the fight happen, although no official negotiations had taken place. The boxing world watched closely as both fighters continued to trade barbs, with the tension building in anticipation of a potential showdown. Fans were divided over who would come out on top, but one thing was clear: a fight between these two could be the biggest event in boxing. However, just when fans thought the fight might be on the horizon, Davis threw a wrench into the plans with an unexpected announcement. In a press conference, he revealed that he was contemplating retirement. He stated that he planned to retire within the next year, citing his frustration with the state of the sport and his desire to focus on other aspects of his life. "I'm fed up with it," Davis said, expressing his disillusionment with boxing and his decision to prioritize financial security over chasing titles. This announcement shocked the boxing community, as it suggested that Davis might be ready to step away from the sport before facing off with Stevenson. Despite Davis's retirement plans, Stevenson remained confident that the fight would eventually happen. He emphasized that the rivalry between the two was only heating up, and the fight would come sooner or later. Stevenson's calm and collected demeanor reassured fans that even if it wasn't happening immediately, he was fully committed to making the fight a reality in the near future. He dismissed rumors that either fighter was ducking the other, asserting that the only thing standing in the way of the fight was the right offer. "There's no way the fight is not going to happen," Stevenson said, leaving no doubt that he believed the showdown with Davis was only a matter of time. As the year progressed, the situation continued to evolve. Davis's planned retirement, combined with his exclusion of Stevenson from his final slate of opponents, added a layer of uncertainty to the rivalry. While Davis's confidence in his own legacy remained strong, the prospect of an ultimate fight with Stevenson seemed to be slipping away. Fans were left questioning what could have been, while still hoping that the two stars might meet in the ring before Davis walked away from the sport for good. In the end, the rivalry between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis remains unresolved. Both fighters continue to assert their dominance in the lightweight division, and their back and forth has only fueled the fire for a future clash. Whether or not the fight will materialize remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the bad blood between these two has become one of the most compelling storylines in modern boxing. Fans continue to debate who would come out on top in a head-to-head showdown, but for now the tension lingers, leaving the boxing world eagerly anticipating what might come next.